Jason, can you hear me? Jason, are you ignoring me?
No, I hear you.
I was just kidding. Thank you. Man, we're on
Mhm.
the ball tonight. Set up 20 minutes early. I'm kind of
Yeah,
nervous.
yeah. I went in and restarted it and made sure it was all updated and everything. No surprise restarts.
Well, I appreciate it, and I'm sure our board will too. You know us all too well, it sounds like. All right, I'll put this back on mute. Thanks.
It's like free money.
Yeah. So I think it's,
So I probably buy myself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know, it's quite. It is, it's according to, Apple, it's 3:30.
Yeah.
So we'll call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Roll call, please, ma'am.
Evelyn,
Here.
Joe,
Yes.
Kevin,
Here.
Phil,
Here.
Edward will be absent. Carol is not.
It looks like Edward is on, I think that's probably him that's got his hand raised.
Oh,
Hold on, Edward.
you might make sure he's actually on there.
He's on there as an attendee. I'm gonna try to get him added as a panel.
I remember when Ben's first time.
So are we done? I'm sorry, I lost track.
Yeah, we're done. He's trying to see if Edward is on Zoom. He said he might try to.
He is, he's got his hand raised, but until he's a panelist, I don't think I can allow him. I don't think I can unmute him.
If he joins us, great.
And this was absolutely a mistake. I apologize. I doubt it.
You're,
I meant he added like. I was not looking up. He is right next to, yes,
can't your administrator promote him?
there he is. I think he is. Edward, can you hear us? Got it. I think we're good to go.
Good. All right, thank you. Moving on to the next item, there is an amendment to the agenda regarding under new business. Approval of the hiring of an office manager. So the agenda has been amended. Could we have a motion, please?
Make a motion. Just approve the amended agenda.
I'll second that. Discussion?
Second.
Thank you. Go right ahead, man.
Evelyn,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
Edward,
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Statement of compliance, I don't believe applies to anything on this agenda. I didn't have it due to the United States mail. But we will recognize the compliance statement if it pertains. Moving on to number 5, public comment for non-agenda items. Seeing none or hearing none. Item 6, approval of the November 15, 2023 meeting minutes.
Move we approve the November 15, 2023 meeting minutes. Second.
Been seconded to approve the November 15, 2023 minutes. Any questions or comments about the minutes?
On page 4, I was absent on the vote.
Oh.
And I will hear.
we're here. I don't remember hearing any objections.
Any other comments or corrections? Hearing none, call roll, please.
Joe,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
Edward,
Yes.
Evelyn.
Yes. Motion passes, thank you. Moving on to pages 6 through 9. Approval of the November 2023 non-reverting claims. Anytime.
Page 6. Down here with so regular Cooper James. Fence for a utility. Is that for the easement or just for the design?
That's for neither. We're having a conservation easement probably at Jackson Creek Park, and I needed Bledsoe to do a lot of research for us, and it's basically from a research, contacting the utility people, trying to figure out where it's at, getting all the documents together for us. So it's not to draw an easement.
Is there, isn't? So you're even trying to find out if there is an easement?
Yeah, we found out there is an easement, multiple
We're
easements.
trying to get a conservation easement put in, and to do that, we have to figure out where the utility easements are so they don't match up.
Bledsoe seems to be a little more involved than the other engineer that I see department is.
Additional comments about the excuse me, non-reverting claims?
I wish April was here. I wanted to ask her how much a cricket was. $500 worth of crickets.
I think last year we decided maybe it was just one big cricket.
I figured buy one, pass it around.
Apparently, they're very popular. I've asked that question in the past, they're like a couple bucks.
Remind me again what outer spatial is.
It's the app that people can get on and, you know, see where things are in the park, et cetera.
It's expensive.
It is.
It's expensive. Yeah, 5,000 even though.
Yeah.
I think it's gosh, I can't remember now. I think it's a 3-year.
No, I think we did 5 this year.
Did we do 5? I can't, unless I'm looking at it. I can't.
3,000 a year.
But that was for multiple years.
This thing says 3.
Yes, this says 3, yeah, for 15,000.
Yeah, 5,000 a year.
It's neither here nor there, but why is this a split invoice?
Sometimes we don't have enough money in one account line, so we'll drain one account line and then have to take some.
Oh, it is 2 different account lines, I see that, okay. So thank you, Joe, for asking that, because it's a little startling.
I had no idea getting rid of a can of paint was that expensive.
Yeah.
$1,000.
It was a lot of paint.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had a lot of old paint that had been sitting around for probably some of it for a decade, like cans of paint. And it wasn't the paint that, I think we got charged for some of the paint, but what we really got charged for was we had a bunch of old parts cleaner from our parts cleaner tub, and they charged us for that especially.
Yeah, they didn't used to charge for that, but they started a few years ago.
We get rid of all our used motor oil and filters there for free though, so.
I think I've asked, or this has come up before about the outer spatial app. And somebody said it's very popular. Is there any way to track the usage of it?
Yeah, so through the app, you can track the amount of downloads, and I think that was one of the few meetings that I wasn't able to attend, but I've got those numbers if you'd be interested. I don't have them with me today. But I can bring them to a meeting if you'd like to see them. But yes, you can keep track of the individual users and downloads.
Well, I don't know that it's, I'm not thinking about it anytime soon, but when this subject comes up again, moving,
Sure.
you know, when we get close to the 3-year mark, would be informative to
Yeah,
know
absolutely.
whether this is money well spent or not. Any other questions or comments? Excuse me.
I'd make a motion to approve the November 20 non-reverting claims. I'll second it.
Moved and seconded to approve the November 2023 non-reverting claims. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, Jamie?
Carolyn,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Edward,
Yes.
Evelyn,
Yes.
and Joe.
Yes.
Motion passes. Goodness. root clearing time of year. Item 8, approval of the November 2023 credit card charges on page 10. Well, there's only one.
Move we approve credit card checking for November 2023.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve the charge for November 2023. Any question about it? Hearing none, Jamie?
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
Edward,
Yes.
Colin,
Yes,
Joe,
Yes.
and Carolyn.
Yes.
motion passes. The amendment to the agenda is the hiring of a new office.
That's not it, though.
I'm sorry, it's not on the agenda. It is it's the amendment.
No, I mean, we need to get old business first, don't we?
I beg your pardon, I wrote that down on the wrong line. Okay. Moving on to, well, okay, another amendment to, I was right and didn't know it. One amendment to the agenda is under old business is to remove item A.
We didn't vote on that, but or I can just say they're not ready yet and it'll be at a meeting in 2024.
Okay.
How's that?
Table
We won't be tabling it each month. If you table it, it comes up every month, but it could be months, so it's up to you all.
it, delayed until.
Delayed, deferred notice. So that's a good one. Delayed to further notice.
It delayed at the request of the people,
Mr. Valmore.
Mr. Belmore, okay.
Then moving on to item B, update on the solar eclipse. Who's speaking to that?
Yeah, this one's me, and we'll keep it pretty brief, but there's basically two separate topics. So there's what our department is doing in the parks, like procedurally that day, and then there's the programming that we're planning leading up to the solar eclipse. Kelly summarized it pretty good actually in the agenda item, but the day of the eclipse, which I believe is a Monday, we're planning on keeping the parks open to the public. We're gonna shut down the shelters for the reservation. So the shelters will still be open, people can still use them on a first come, first served basis. And then all of our typically scheduled programs, mainly athletics, will also not be going on that day. And our biggest concern obviously is just parking logistics. We don't want people reserving shelters and not having a place to park. Same with athletics, certainly gonna be an issue there. So that applies to all of our parks. Then I think Autumn mentioned this maybe a couple months ago, but she's planning on putting together a scavenger hunt. It starts about a month before the eclipse and it's kind of leading up to, so it'll be open for about a month. And let's see, I think she has purchased about 700 of the glasses, which will be dispersed through participation in the scavenger hunt. The scavenger hunt will send you to different places in the county. And the intention is, I think, to educate people about the eclipse leading up to the actual event.
John, if I could comment on one of the first things you said in that report about the shelter houses not being rented and thus open for people to use without reservations. I would be a little concerned that given the number of people we expect, that could result in some conflict, that people could get there, try to hold a shelter just for a very small group of people, and you have large numbers. If there's anything we can do in the way of signage or something to encourage people to share the shelters because of the numbers of people, because it's just not going to be the normal situation to have them open for anyone to latch onto.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that we still have to discuss and decide as a staff. So that day is actually a county holiday now. So our full-time staff technically is off, but I think we're prepared
We
to,
have part-time, we have cars caretaker, we'll be well prepared.
Okay,
and I think,
Some people may choose to work it, take a holiday another day.
yeah, because on top of the shelter conflicts you're talking about, there's also the potential of people trying to sit or park on the athletic fields, which is
yeah,
probably our biggest.
there'll be a number of issues, and maybe some signage covering a variety of
Yeah.
things might make sense.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those people will not be familiar with the park and be from out of the county and all that, so I think we need to prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Yeah, I think leading up to anything we can do to mitigate it, signage, caution,
Yeah.
tape, cones, is a good idea.
It's a county holiday because the county declared it a holiday because of it.
Yeah,
Well, there's actually like not a place to stay in the county that entire week. Everything
They
is
don't-
sold out. They're expecting hundreds of thousands of people to descend on this corridor.
I know it.
And so they're afraid that nobody will be able to go anywhere anyway, so they're just.
Yeah.
Trying to keep people home.
Yeah, but I wonder, my concern there is that, you know, we're talking about potential for too many people in the park and parking. People may be driving out on a soccer field or anything. It seemed to me like if it's an option, we should require our employees to work that day.
I'm sure Andy can find volunteers.
I'm sure.
Because I mean, we're just leaving that park wide open here. Part-timers aren't the same as full-time staff here.
I'm worried that park, I mean, Flatwoods could get a lot of.
It's telling you.
Kelly.
We are sure we'll get volunteers.
Okay,
Don't worry.
we're worried about Flatwoods too, in particular, I mean.
Okay.
There's a lot of space for people to go out there. And view the eclipse, and if there's no staff to manage it, it could be chaotic.
We'll have volunteers, don't worry.
Okay,
I am worried. I think,
Oh,
I think the full-time staff will be working.
That's what I'm saying. Andy will take care of it. No worries,
We'll find somebody to.
no worries.
and I think one of the things we can also do is maybe have a discussion with. So another concern, I think, countywide is that the emergency personnel is gonna be spread thin. Having a conversation with the sheriff's department to go over, all right, this day, if certain things, like what are you gonna have time for and what you're not gonna have time for, which will help us in kind of dealing with any situations that might come up. Because if they can't get out to the park,
we may want to see if we can get some reserve county officers available, at least one at each of the parks. I mean, the full-time people will be tied up, but if we could get some reserves in there, I just, it could be something bad could happen, and it'll be hard to get help, off-site help.
We'll ask the county legal and the commissioners and the sheriff what they would like us to do, how they would like to pay for it. We'll get it done. I promise. We'll get it done.
So, Andy, she just put you in charge of finding lots of volunteers.
Well, when I mean volunteers, I mean the staff.
Staff.
The staff.
Who would volunteer there?
Well, it's not a real volunteer. It's.
They're getting paid.
They would,
take your holiday on a different
You
day.
take your holiday on a different day.
okay.
That's how it worked. So I'm
Yeah,
sure that they would be willing.
It's in April, like Amber's already.
That's what's done with like the police department and public safety, you know, they need to be available, so they would have to work their days, their holiday or day off, a separate day. I'm sure you're gonna have to get permission from the commissioners and explain why we need those people, but yeah, I think that would make sense.
And I'll ask them about the reserve officers. They may have them already assigned, like at the IU Stadium. They're having a big event. So they may say, we don't have enough officers, but I will ask them.
It might be better sooner than later because obviously other people are gonna do the same.
You know, you might ask, while you're talking about that, Kelly, you might ask, Jim Durnall at Ellisville, which he would have to have a reserve person he could put in Flatwoods.
Yes, we would, I can start working on that. There would be a contract and we can hopefully get that through county legal before. What month is it?
April.
April, maybe.
And so will our staff be rightly identified somehow with,
We have vests and we have park gear, each and every one of us.
the dark green part, what it used to be dark green
No,
part?
and we have parking vests, like bright orange parking
Okay,
vests.
okay, something that says I'm in charge here, hopefully.
It's not our first rodeo and I know this is really bad, but we will staff it to the maximum that we can physically staff. And like
Well-
you said, prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
We know, we appreciate that it's not your first rodeo, however, we're talking about multitudes that we've never dealt with.
Oh, I know, I totally understand. This is like 6 football games in one day. I understand. We are on a lot of committees.
I can't imagine though it's gonna pack more people in the park than what like the Yagley did that first year when they were using the fairgrounds to park because we didn't have enough parking at Cars.
I mean, we'll
Park.
be packed
You can
apart.
only get so many cars in the cars, so like the Yagley that first year had the entire park full plus hundreds of cars at the fairgrounds, so it's gonna be less people parking and coming there than that.
Plus people lining the roads and
Yeah.
Right,
emergencies, personnel not able to get to different parts.
and that is why we're canceling all athletics, all programs, all shelter rent. So we're closed that way, but we will grab athletic personnel and put them at all of our parks.
Do we know if anything's gonna be going on at the fairgrounds?
Yeah, they're
Yeah, they're having an event.
They rented the whole fairgrounds out to some private company out of Indianapolis. They got people camping in all the places, but they've got security over there.
Okay, because there could be spillover either direction.
And parks are open and free, so, you know, if they wanna come over and use the playground, they're welcome to. Unless you,
It could be, and hopefully the sheriff's probably on top of that. It could be very difficult getting in and out of the park. Combined traffic.
oh, I totally agree, it's gonna be busy. It's gonna be busy.
So, given the level of concern as pieces come together, can this be an agenda item for the next 4 months?
Oh,
So that the
yeah,
board
no.
is updated on all of these contacts that we've mentioned today.
Yes, I
So
will find
I-
Ellisville really.
I'm feeling a little anxiety and I'm,
Well, we can only do the best we can. I mean, well, we will staff it and find out what sheriffs and who can help us and who can't help us. And then we just have to do the best we can. We understand, like Phil knows, like 6 football games in one day, and maybe Ohio State football games.
6 Ohio State
Football games,
Well, now
yeah.
that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people, so I got the gist of what Ohio State does to our community when they come over.
What, 50,000 on it per game? So, all right, it's not the worship. Okay, so there will be more to come on that. Wow. Moving on to item C, Cars Farm Park ADA project update.
It's done. They got the parking lot right by the 3-way done, 3-way stop sign going out back, got it all lined and, I mean, it looks great, the concrete, the board going up to our existing sidewalk. And then out back, our little, going out back where it goes from soccer field parking lot on the north side of the drive. There's now a speed bump, it's flat in the center, so a wheelchair can cross from the north side of the drive, across the drive, and then there's a 5x5 spot for somebody to pull up on their wheelchair and sit and watch soccer, and then steps leading down to the field. They did a really good job, so. And actually they had a little bit extra asphalt, and I stuck it in some of our huge potholes, so.
Who did that?
Groomer,
Oh, how are they?
they did great. The old man owns it, and he was there every day with his crew working too, so. Nice.
Weather cooperative.
Yeah, it did. They had good weather for it.
Yes.
All right. Wow, a one-word report, done. Yeah. Next item under old business is the 2024 Park Board of Officers. Who is speaking to that? I am. Carol.
Edward and I had phone conversations, because since there were two of us, we didn't think there was any point in a meeting. And we contacted the various members who are on the current, who are the current officers, and each one of them said they would do it again. So we are recommending that the slate of officers be Evelyn as president, Carolyn as secretary, and Joe as vice president.
Thank you for your work. And of course, as always, there are any nominations from the floor. Is there a motion from the floor?
I move, we approve the committee's recommendation for the present officers to serve another year in 2024. I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve the 2024 slate of officers. Comments? Complaints? Hearing none. Jamie?
Bill,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Edward,
Yes.
Evelyn,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
and Kevin.
Yes.
Motion passes. I appreciated a question from Carol, which was, well, it was what are the duties of the secretary? But I went on to talk about the 3 positions, and it gave me an opportunity to review. It's kind of scary there for a while. Interesting exercise. Moving on to new business, and I have corrected my agenda appropriately. So there is an amendment to the new business agenda. Who is speaking to this? Is that you, Kelly?
Yes, our previous office manager, Tina Engel, found a different job in the county. So we advertised for a new office manager, and we were very lucky to get Karen Wheeler. You have a resume there. Mostly she has worked 8 elections as the Dr. Carol probably could speak on that, how hard that job is. And we are quite pleased that she will bring very nice professionalism to our office and kindness to our clients that we have. And that this is a particular job that she is really excited to have. And I know Dr. Carolyn knows her very well.
We've been there for 8 years as part of the election board. She is, she's finding the recorder's office a little quiet, let's put it that way. That's, she's a people person, and I have seen her handle some very tough situations with aplomb. And the election supervisor is not an easy position. And she was there for a number of years and did a very good job.
So we are asking you to approve her hiring for the position of office manager.
Is
Do we
there,
need a motion?
Yes.
Then I will make that motion to hire Karen Wheeler as the new office manager for County Parks and Recreation.
I second it.
moved and seconded to hire Karen Wheeler as the new office manager. Any questions or comments now? Hearing none. Jamie?
Carol,
Yes.
Edward,
Yes.
Evelyn,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
and Phil.
Yes.
Motion passes. I think she's fortunate to get to work with such nice people. Well, that's good. Yeah.
Who are you referring to, Evelyn?
No one, because they all thought that was funny. Interesting.
It's my understanding all the nice people in parks are out at the shop at Karst.
Oh.
I don't know about that either.
Moving on to item A, then, the reappointment of Amy Thompson to the Foundation Board. Somebody want to address that?
I don't know what to say about Amy. Amy's, you all know Amy, and she's the president of the foundation currently, and she's helping us with our new farm leads. And we just couldn't do it without her, so I am recommending wholeheartedly if you would reappoint her as a citizen volunteer, term expires January 1st, 2028. She has agreed to serve another 4-year term. And those Purdue people, I don't know about them, but they seem to be good folks.
Maybe not nice.
I wouldn't.
Or at least Amy.
Only the best academic people in the county.
That actually went 4 of us. so-
Yeah, exactly.
I'll make a motion, we reappoint Amy Thompson to the Monroe County Parks and Rec Foundation Board for a new term, which will go until January 1st, 2028. I second that.
Moved and seconded, to reappoint Amy Thompson to the Monroe County Parks and Rec Foundation Board as a citizen volunteer. Term expiring January 1st, 2028. Any other comments? Hearing none, Jamie?
Edward,
Yes.
Evelyn,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
and Carol.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Item B, splash pad and water features. So
It's on page 11. We have 3 water features at the car splash pad. Our 3 cannons have. We cannot fix them any longer.
They're out of commission.
They're out of commission.
About 3 years into us having those spray cannons, they changed the design of them. Because to where they meet together, the top and the base, the piece in there would just get wallowed out and then they just drip water because kids hang on them at the time. And so for a long time, we had been having, I forget the name of it, over on right at the corner pretty much of Vernal and Curry. There had been an engineer shop that we could go to and had like a brand new one in stock still. We had took it in and he'd just machine them for us. But he's since retired and we've limped the ones we got long as we can, so we're gonna have to get some new.
So what I'm proposing is that the park board allocate up to $3,000 for the purchase of this. And my goal then would go to the Kellogg Endowment and the Community Foundation of Bloomington and ask for $13,896. And then the park board would make up the remaining. You can see on page 12, this is our most recent quote for the 3 cannons, which it looks like a lot of money, but this is what they cost. And this is probably the
One of the
least expensive
one thing
feature.
that we got.
Because you have to remember the splash pad itself costs about everything $250,000. So replacing these cannons, which are the most popular feature for the kids.
This is what sprays.
Yeah, they're the ones though that you grab a hold and you can, they're on like
Oh, okay.
360 degrees.
And you can,
They only shoot for about like 270 or something like that. They got a range.
so they're very, very popular. All the kids can use them, you know, even like children who are using wheelchairs and whatnot. You can, they're this level, you can move around. They're a lot of fun. And
Which is why we've continually replaced pieces on them over the years, because they get used.
so my goal is to have, hopefully, because I have to go and present to them. And Evelyn, you're on my committee, just so you know. Just because for recreation, the Kellogg Endowment, the money was to be used to keep this up, to keep the splash pad going, to keep the playground there going, and to keep everything nice. The good people up in Michigan who gave us all this money wanted to make sure that whatever they bought keeps going and keeps nice, keeps clean. So I don't think I'll have a trouble getting the money from the community foundation, but we are going to be short and I would like the park board to make up the difference, which will be no more than $3,000.
I'm happy to make a motion if,
No more than $3,000 will need it.
I'll make a motion that we allocate, the sum of $3,000 for the replacement of the 3 loop cannons at Car Splash Pad.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded to allocate $3,000 for the vortex water features at the splash pad. Discussion? Questions? Hearing none, Jamie?
Evelyn,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
and Edward.
Yes,
Motion passes. Thank you. Next item is the Smithville telephone agreement for the Commons Wi-Fi. Pages 13 through 20. And I found this to be a little challenging.
Well,
So
the
we
reason
can
why,
simple.
so yeah, I wouldn't get, don't worry about the details of that. About what, 4 or 5 years ago, we got Wi-Fi at the Commons, Shelter 6. And they in Smithville would charge us $80 a month. It's like you would at your own home for that service. We are expired. They want another contract and it's for $99. PSD's looked at the contract. It's a typical contract. It has not gone through county legal and it may take months to get through county legal. So I just want you to realize or to vote from $80 to $99 a month that you're willing to pay for the Wi-Fi at the Forest Commons per month, and then county legal can figure out all of this.
Is this the only place we're getting Wi-Fi?
Well, funny you said that, Kevin. The commissioners keep this separate. The commissioners also want to put some more Wi-Fi out at Parks Farm Park through ARPA funds. It's working through TSD, ARPA, county legal to figure out how to do that. And what they're thinking of is that the new synthetic fields, that area will be first priority. The second priority would be around fields 3 and 4. We have the commons. So they're going to see what we can afford. The county, this is a county project. It's really not our project. It was not on my list to do, but they instructed me, this is the path we're going down. So this Cars Commons has nothing to do with these other projects. Everyone knows they're intertwined. And I asked if we could have one agreement. County legal and PSD, everyone will figure it out. I can't tell you any more than that.
Well, it would likely be with Smithville.
That's all it's all, definitely.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think what they could do at the very least is, county legal can drop the contract, so this contract could be terminated by the county should it determine that it needs other services or something.
And I think it'll be added on to,
Okay.
so we're in no rush to sign on the dotted line, but you all have to realize for just the commons, they're going to increase to $99 a month. Now, the other services will cost us money. They will not tell me how much.
There's a process that we've gone
It's
through
been a
just to
process.
meet with them and try to figure out.
Well, there's gonna probably be more Wi-Fi over the synthetic fields and dog park and the splash pad area. That's gonna cost money every month too. I don't know how much that's gonna cost.
Okay, that works.
There'll be another bill.
County's got a project to get it placed out there.
Correct.
We would have the upkeep of it.
Correct.
Fee.
And we would,
I see.
each budget hearing, I'll just add that to our budget.
Right.
I doubt that the council will say no after they just spent $75,000 to get Wi-Fi at Cars Farm Park.
We updated the Wi-Fi at fairgrounds this year through the ARPA. And I think they put up like 12 or 14 new wireless points and I think it was around like 70 or 80 grand for what they did there.
For the
But
installation.
yeah, for the installation, but it all got paid back. Through
Right,
the ARPA.
but whatever the charges, the monthly charges,
he couldn't even give us an estimate on
Yeah.
that without knowing how much stuff
And I
was gonna go
asked,
into the
I
whole
asked
process. He had no
numerous
idea.
times.
Well, it's not, given that this is going from $80 to $99, I mean, we're not talking tens of thousands of dollars for.
And this is just for the Cars Commons,
Probably
not for
not.
the other project, just for the Commons
Right.
area.
Well, I think I agree with you. If the council all approve the 75, I'm confident we can raise our budget future years to accommodate the monthly.
Correct, I do not think they'll say, oh, we're not gonna give you that extra $100,
Right.
or whatever, so we'll just incorporate it into our 2025 budget.
Yeah,
It probably would be quite helpful for soccer tournaments and some of the other things to have Wi-Fi out there.
Well, and it's, people go to a park to relax, but they like to be on the internet, not a picnic table.
We don't have any Wi-Fi at Flatwoods, do we?
No, and that's no time soon.
Fiber all the way around there.
Yeah, there's no money for it.
And this is being driven by
The commissioners.
commissioners.
And I'm sure the council they've had to vote numerous times on these provisions, so the council and commissioners have seen this numerous times. And no one said anything like, take it off. Take it off the list.
And well, that might speak to the Flatwoods lack. And somebody please tell me what ARPA is.
American Rescue,
I can't remember.
American Rescue Plan,
But it's a federal grant
It's-
to get more internet access to the
what's the
people.
Act? American Rescue Plan
Oh,
Act.
okay.
Act.
Okay,
And there's like, and I'm making this kind of up, say there's 100 things you can spend the money on, that's one of them.
yeah, oh, you said,
Yeah.
okay.
ARPA is who you've got to thank for the internet.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of, yes, one. And that's how the fairgrounds got their internet too, through the ARPA funds.
American Rescue Plan Act in 2021. Otherwise known as the COVID-19 stimulus package or American Rescue Plan. It's been re-upped for the last 2 years.
Oh, that's a list.
So
anywho,
anywho,
I don't, just so if you would want to make a motion that you approve the commons from $80 to $99, then I can start pushing it through,
I will so
legal.
move.
I will second.
been seconded to increase the payment for the Smithfield telephone agreement for Commons Wi-Fi from $80 to $99 a month. Comments? Any more?
yeah, you'll be receiving $100 for waiting through that thing.
They send me a reminder like every four days, and I have to call Smithville and say, you're not gonna cut us off. Oh, no, Kelly, I put a note in your file. It's gonna take months. No worries, don't worry. No worries, you'll get a reminder, but we're not gonna cut you off. So,
Jamie?
Joe,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Kevin, Zell,
Yes,
Carol,
Yes,
Edward.
Yep.
Evelyn.
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you. Apparently, this is just discussion changing from Zoom to Microsoft Teams. What?
So TSD has informed us that probably beginning January of 2024, we will move from using the current meeting system to what is called Microsoft Teams. We have not been trained on it yet. As soon as we get trained, we will pass that information along to you guys so that you can possibly zoom in. Most of you are in person now, but occasionally we do some have people zooming.
Yeah.
Teaming.
Tag, no.
Teaming.
Oh, yeah, well, I like
Yeah,
that.
so you won't be zooming, you'll be teaming.
Teaming in,
And we literally, all we know about it is that when we start our computers up, Microsoft Teams takes forever to load, and once it's on the screen, we click off of it, and that's all we've kind of had to do with it, but we hear that TSD is gonna train us, and we're just patiently waiting, but it's
And so we'll be-
mid-December, so.
Those of us who are not county employees, will be able to get this on our computers or phones or wherever we need it.
I would assume it probably is as easy or easier to use than Zoom.
It's
I
not.
can comment on
It's a little
that.
easier.
No, it is not as easy. I actually have both of them.
Yeah, I don't like Teams at all.
Neither. I suspect that there's some sort of deal that Microsoft's licensing agreement. And most likely get some big break because if they include Teams in that other stuff. Because to me, Zoom's far superior.
Wow. And I've had, that the county will be saving money doing this.
That's what this was.
All of the meetings, commissioners, the council, everyone, every meeting, there will be no more Zoom.
Maybe 5 years from now, people have Microsoft Teams figured out, like it.
And then they'll switch.
Something, or just say we don't need to do any more virtual stuff.
So as soon as Jamie gets a hold of the training, we all get the training, we'll train you all. So, and
so based on what you just said, the public, well, Joe already is.
Anybody, you can just download it on your
Yeah,
phone,
you
like, or
can.
computer, whatever.
Just like
Like you did too.
Yeah.
It's just the ease of use of it to me is nowhere close to as easy as it.
And I agree with you on that.
I would say that's a fair statement.
It gives us all something to look forward to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, well, yes. Well, thank you for that.
So everyone show up in January.
Microsoft.
Uh,
Just wait till Biden.
page 21 is the meeting dates, list of meeting dates for 2024. Are there any questions or issues with this list?
I think I made this comment last meeting last month that June ought to be up on the title because of Juneteenth. We meet the second Wednesday in June, in addition to the second Wednesday in December, so it should be June and December.
It is.
They've got both in it now.
Yeah, but it's not up there,
It says normal meetings
Oh,
third
I see.
Wednesday of the month except for December,
up in the title.
but in this year because it falls on June.
Put the asterisk.
I see your point. I do. Well, yes. But now that you've pointed it out to us, we don't need it in the title.
That's true.
Well,
Sure.
aware.
Well marked in the grid.
Yes, do we have to approve this?
I don't know what you do every year, so
Oh, we do?
Motion to approve the meeting dates for 2024 and 7.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the 2024 park board meeting dates. Aha, there's an error in the agenda. That should. Okay. Any comments, any further comments? Jamie?
Carolyn,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Carol,
Yeah.
Edward.
Yep.
Evelyn
Yes,
and Joe.
Yes.
motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to financial reports, pages 22 through 27. Coming up on the end of the year. How are we doing?
We're broke, but that's to be expected. You're gonna see lots and lots of zeros on the account balances, but we've had money to pay for what we needed to.
and that's county general. So that's anticipated. You want to spend every dime.
Yeah, that's the word.
Right.
Jamie did a wonderful job spending ultimate. What
That's
that's
corrected.
I'd say with help, Kelly.
It's pretty good. She did go from.
And Andy.
Yeah, we drink a lot.
Any questions about anything in those from pages 22 through 37, which includes service agreements, by the way, but report of collections, balances.
Yeah, page 28 is usually a interesting page to read.
Yeah.
That's the end of November. Yes.
This is our year-to-date start from the 29th.
County
Page
general,
49.
well, actually, county general,
The new money
the new money,
technically comes in on the 13th.
But when you're calculating the year to date.
oh,
When
that,
does that start?
I think our database runs January 1st
yeah,
for collections.
I
Is
agree
that
with
what you're looking
that.
at? I can't see you.
Page 29.
So like, we only made $120 from shelter tent
That wouldn't be
for the year.
this year unless it restarted.
It should not have.
That doesn't seem to make sense. It's like shelter tent 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all under $150 worth of total.
But that's
year
Well,
to date
That,
collections.
that just shows who has paid for the shelter in the month of, see where it says collections this period.
Well, it says collections this period, then it says prior collections, and then it says year-to-date collections.
Yeah, and I don't know how Kay explained it to me, but the year-to-date collections, for whatever reason,
Isn't year-to-date?
yeah, it isn't actually year-to-date, yeah. So even though we have people in shelter 6, if you look at shelter 6, you know, the collections this period, there's been more than 9 people rent that shelter. But most people pay for it in a different month because they start renting that in January. So the January collections for shelter 6 is usually pretty high because everybody gets online in January to try to secure that for the year. So if you look at shelter 6 collections for the period, it says $899.99, and that's because of how the credit card processing fees round. So we don't always have an exact dollar amount on that.
So none of the year-to-date collection figures are
Accurate.
Right, and I don't believe that they're ever accurate.
Why don't you see if you can figure out why that is?
Yeah, that data, the database that we use has lots of mysteries. That's one of them.
I mean, that's one of those, as a board member, we'd like to know, have an accurate number there.
Yeah, I can get you,
I
yeah,
do think on page 30, and correct me if I'm wrong, on the far right column, that's the.
yeah, that's the total.
Date.
Yeah, that's the total year.
But you're not seeing the, no, that would be right either, because,
Yeah, anyway, it
Yeah.
would be something interesting to actually have an accurate year-to-date collection.
Yeah, we can.
Number. Or change the title or whatever that
Yeah.
line
And
is. because
John and I
it's
have
not.
talked several times about moving to a different system. The database that we use is so outdated. That's why we have to sometimes employ Nate to come in and fix our database for us. We're still on that same one, and it's just not, I mean, things, yeah, wonky things happen all the time. Sometimes we'll print out a report and we'll say one thing, you'll print out the exact same report and it'll have different. The database is just kind of, I won't say it's corrupt, but it's definitely out of date.
Okay, that looks
Like
like,
a can of worms, but.
Yeah,
no,
yeah, that's a.
that's a
topic
good
for
can of
different-
worms. Because it definitely needs, an update to the board as to if, what options might be available.
Moving, yeah, yeah.
I have a question on page 28. I think this is just there. The top line under current cash balance, all right. There's one paren around that figure, and I'm not sure that means anything. At the end of the 1,492,000 or 67 figure, there's one paren.
Yeah, and I don't type that in, so I'm not sure.
I mean,
It may just be that there's not enough room in
The column's not
the
wide enough.
column for the total number of digits that are in there.
Oh,
Yeah, I'd say the column width wasn't wide enough.
okay. So that,
You know, it's like Vanderweel, which doesn't get into any. In the world.
I had a question on that line now that Kevin's pointing this line out. I'm not sure I understand that whole line. I understand the beginning cash balance. The adjusted balance. But we spent twice as much as we had in there. Is that what that means? This person?
Now, this is Nate's.
Yeah, this is Nate's,
Now, you balanced allow, which is the count.
we balance with WOW, yeah.
So it could be our database.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to, you know, if we only had $1.4 million, how do we spend 2.9?
well, you kind of wonder because then maybe there should be two parens on the last figure because
Well, there's-
that would make sense. That we spent twice as much as we had, so the last column shows a deficit
Right,
of 1 million for.
yeah. If you do the math.
492.
Except that's not true.
So it's like the federal government. You
More than
just print more money. Okay, I got it.
No, it could be, we may not be able to save our database and we may just have to print out the county's spreadsheet. Which has,
Yeah, printing up allow report would probably be more beneficial than,
because the database we have is not from the county, it's probably 20 years old. So we may at some point,
It's been one.
yeah, we may not be able to fix it.
Might be worth fixing that at some point.
Well, last time, I mean, it cost thousands of dollars, or we just.
Well, I don't mean fixing this, but fixing the data.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
By going to a different database.
We may just have to print the county's LAO out and not do this.
Well,
Wow.
Go ahead, explain.
that's,
so it's the county-wide financial system that we use, the software.
Okay.
And so the way it works is every month I print out what we have as far as claim payout, budget wise. And then I have to match it with what LAO, the courthouse basically
The
has,
treasurer,
the treasurer's office.
Is that an acronym? Wow.
it's the man's name.
It's a
Oh,
last
it's
name.
man's name.
Yeah, it's a last name.
That's probably who owns the,
Oh,
who manufactures the database. Yeah.
I don't want to create a lot of extra work. I just would feel better if somebody just checked and found out what that top line means. And, you know, if that is a deficit of $1,492, so forth, you know, that's not a problem.
Well, and if you look at the pages, so that's just the cash balances, but if you look at the pages before that, where it shows all of the actual account lines, you can see that several of our county general account lines still have a large amount in them, so obviously we haven't spent more than we had, because we've still got all of this left, so
Well,
I'll look and see why.
yeah, just find out why that is.
Yeah, I'm just trying to reassure you that. we
Okay,
haven't
no,
lost
I
it.
just,
I think
I'm
the
not
county would know.
worried that we overspent. I'm just a little concerned that we're generating numbers that far off base unless there's an explanation for it. That's all.
Well, the next line, I'm trying to do the math quickly, I can't do that without. Your phone, but the next line is weird,
Well, they're all weird.
yeah,
Yeah, they're all weird.
yeah, I haven't gotten any further, but so it's corrupted or pointless or.
Well, we may just need to go to the county and we might have to scrap what we're doing.
Yeah. The database itself, as far as keeping track of collections, is printing out for me the correct amount, and we always balance with WOW. It's just this top part of this page that seems to be not having the
It's
correct.
not picking up. the-
If it's not working right, we just leave this out in the future, this one part of it, the rest of it. It's all good, fine, but if this doesn't make sense to you. But it's not a reflection of a problem, it's probably better not to give it to us. In my view.
Oh, wait.
No, I agree, and I will admit a lot of times when we print these reports out, as long as it's balanced with WOW for me, when I print the report, I kind of take for granted it's gonna generate the correct numbers, so. that's on me. Sometimes it's funky, sometimes it's not.
The columns have some value for information, but can you pull the corresponding figures out of this Lao?
Yeah, there's a
Plug
Lao
them in?
report that will show you the beginning and ending balances for the line.
So
That's
you
what
could
I'm
just
saying. It would be more
manually
beneficial.
Like those.
I think it's that report and give that instead of this page.
Not to be the dead horse, but I think if you look at the 2022 comparison. Those numbers, to me, just initially looking at them, look accurate. I think that's probably an indication that somewhere over the course of the last couple of months, when this is. I think that we could probably confirm that it's been.
Yeah, and it's definitely not a rare occurrence for something like this to happen. We just normally put it in the office and we pay Nate to come in and fix whatever's going wrong. He has to come in sometimes and go in the back tables and do coding and things like that. We haven't had Nate come in for a long while, so.
I'm more than happy to look at.
Well, look at, I do think, and again, beat the dead horse, I'll quit beating it there after one comment. Looking at the top half of this page 28, I think, I did all this in my head. I think the top line, the county general budget line's the only one's wrong. Yeah, I think every other line on this page, it looks pretty consistent. Something to do with the county general thing, that's the problem.
Okay. Well, that would be a step in the right direction. Okay. All right. Any other comments about the financial reports? That's. Fail, let me down. No concerns about page 35 and the. What's the trending mean?
It's the county legal.
That's what I thought that. So.
It's the county.
Pending before we get. Right, okay.
And I
think they are.
I'll give you a cheat sheet of where I'm at, what's county legal.
Okay. All right. Then I hope you've read the recreation report. Is he all ready for next year, obviously? Kelly, I think you had comments for item B, park maintenance.
Or between A and B, or Kevin suggested I give a little report on the Karst Athletic Complex. So that's between recreation and parks. And this is where we're at. The council and the commissioners have approved a $1.2 million bond. Hopefully, next on December 20th, commissioners will approve $3,750,000 from the ARPA funds. It's been voted on, it's been voted on 50 million times, but this will be the last time they vote on it. And then the county council in January will vote to appropriate $500,000 from the innkeeper's tax for a grand total of $5,450,000 to go to the Karst Athletic Complex projects, which include 2 synthetic fields with lights, LED lights, replace the drainage and irrigation on fields 6 and 7, upgrade fields 6 and 7 lights to LED, add LED lights to field 8. So everything that we asked them for, if everything goes well in the next 7 days, those will be our projects. And the commissioners will be involved with all the bids and this and that. The park board won't have to be because there's a variety of funding that doesn't really, is not under the park board review or whatever. So that's where we're at, and we'll move as fast as we can.
So
Shocking.
did we in the minutes that we got in January, Can we have that report verbatim?
Now, like I said, we have one more vote, December 20th. And then council will have another vote in January. So it's, it's not a done deal, but it's a 99.99.
Currently working on it.
They're currently working real hard, the council and the commissioners, to make this happen.
That's wonderful.
Oh. Any questions on that?
Others happy?
I hope so.
Okay,
And
and
I have one more thing.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm not asking you to comment on this, you can take it home and read. Just so you know, this is my to-do list for the legal department. It has many corresponding documents to go with it. So it's just for me and for the legal department, but so when you, I just want the park board to know where I'm at. Where this is the list I need help on. Take it home, you can read it. So that's why there's a lot of things on here.
have they hired a new lawyer yet, or?
I heard rumor they have, but I don't know if they've arrived at the office.
Is the new person gonna be the parks attorney?
I have no idea.
Okay.
If I may interject real quick, first of all, Kelly, can you email that document for me to me so I can post?
Oh, yes. And just so you know, it's my just to-do list. It's, don't worry
Yeah.
about grammar or whatnot. It's things so I don't forget stuff.
Oh, don't
Yes,
worry,
Edward.
I barely speak English. I'm not gonna check your grammar.
Okay, all right. Um,
And I will say that they
completed January 31st, right?
This. Yeah, keep going.
Yes.
they have hired a new person in legal. They do have a new position.
Edward heard.
I'm sorry, Edward, could you start over again, please?
Sorry, Edward.
They do have a new employee in legal. I forget where they came over. They're a Monroe County previous employee. Like they shifted from a different wing of Monroe County government, so that they're well informed and noticeable about. I forget his name, but oh my goodness. The one that's normally sits in the back of our meetings.
Penny Gibbons.
No, not
Penny-
Penny. No,
Dave
the
Schilling?
legal with the glasses.
Dave Schilling. Dave Schilling. He's been to a couple.
Schilling brought him to our plan commission meeting and introduced him to us. So they do have a new employee. He seems like a nice guy, but he is coming from another part of Monroe County government. So he's well informed of what goes on in Monroe County. He's not just some random legal yahoo that's coming from somewhere else.
Archie Rice, of course, is now going to be employed by the city.
Yeah, I got it.
Historically, last three attorneys, the new attorney ends up at Parks.
Yeah, I know.
Historically.
So
Nose goes.
So this is how I dealt with Margie and Molly. I made notes, we had meetings so they could, and I gave them documents and we got on a list. And they love that I typed things out for them.
Why didn't I get those?
Well, because Kevin, you were so brilliant. I didn't need a list. And I never had a list this long. He took care of it. So.
In all the meetings, which makes a difference.
So that's where we're at, and that's why I can only move as fast as. And all this then will go to the county or probably Board of Commissioners. That's all it is.
It would be
At some point.
to have the attorney present at the meetings as much as possible. It's wonderful to have Kevin here as backup, but I don't know how comfortable Kevin is with that, but it's
I'm not giving official legal advice.
I understand, yeah.
So they will work with us. I mean, we can't do anything without county legal, and they're wonderful. It just we'll just have to get in line.
We need to start bringing baked goods to the meetings.
Maybe.
Incentivize.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
So I just wanted you to be aware, there's a lot of things to do, and I can't go any faster.
A comment there though, if anything should come up on any of these let's say he cast the election after their present one expired. I assume we'd be okay if getting them to come.
No, because Molly from County Legal told me that has to be emergency. Emergency is literally life or death, and nothing we have is life or death. So no, we'll have to just wait.
Maybe see.
Who knows? The new attorney might have a different view. I don't, but that's what I was told. And when we wanted to repair the roof at Flatwoods, that definitely was not an emergency in their hands. They're like, so they get. Anywho, it's not an emergency. So, yeah, that's why we need these units, so we can fix things.
Yeah, so and you know, in Kevin's defense. Regarding his complaint, I didn't get these, you know,
Oh,
there's.
it was just being
No.
sarcastic.
Here, we didn't have all these service agreements.
Exactly, that's what I was going, yeah.
I don't think Kevin let us out.
Well, probably not. You know, we have MOUs, service agreements, and
Yeah, lots going on. Any other, I'm sorry, on page 41, take note.
And I'm back.
Dr. Carolyn is, well, okay, back or still whatever. And that's a good thing. Page 41. Oh, I'm in the wrong track. So thank you for re-upping. Kelly strong armed me. Did she?
You got strong arms, so.
You had to accept, otherwise you'd be a secretary in the bench.
Exactly, that's true, Phil.
Actually, Kelly asked me before Carol.
Good.
Good.
All right, any other,
the judges are quick.
Here's one thing for John, Limestone Symposium dragging their feet.
No, so they actually did a couple more programs.
Yeah, but I noticed in your events, they haven't scheduled anything.
They've not scheduled for next year, but this past fall was encouraging to me because they did more. They're still smaller scale, but they did more this past fall than they've done since we started that agreement. And they also have some more equipment out there too. So I'm hopeful that if the people that are there right now stay there, I think that they'll do quite a bit more.
Okay, good.
well, we just have a minute and a half before Phil has to leave, so is there any other business before the board?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, I heard it.
I think I heard that.
Okay.
And second, thank you all.
Perfect.
Enjoy
Thank
your
you.
holidays.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good timing. Good timing. So did I, but I left. I didn't have time to go out and get my parking thingy, or even with them, or, you know. Our thingy's going out, you know, and stuff that's on the street.
Yeah.
John told me, he was I'm at this case and I'm all day.
They'll get it up.
He's got to be safety park in a regular spot, if you can find one.
There wasn't one though.
Yeah, if you can find one.
And the HFI guys were parked in
Yeah,
the,
and the visitors.
well, in the